There is probably a cat somewhere near you right now. And here is something worth thinking about. Your cat may love you, but not the way you think, and definitely not the way a dog does. The dog was shaped over 40,000 years to need you, to read your face, track your mood, complete a neurological loop with you that evolution spent millennia building. The dog was rebuilt from the inside out to bond with humans. The cat was not. And yet, there are 600 million of them living inside human homes right now, sleeping on our beds, eating from bowls we fill, receiving furniture we bought specifically for them. How does an animal that was never truly tamed end up inside human civilization, not at the edges, but at the center of it? The answer is not what you think, and it says something about your species that nobody talks about. Here is the version most people know. Ancient humans liked cats. They were useful. They caught mice. So we kept them, tamed them, bred them into the animals we have today. That is not what happened. The cat was domesticated, but barely, and almost entirely on its own terms. It was never bred for loyalty, never selected for obedience, never shaped the way the dog was shaped to read your face or need your approval or feel incomplete without your presence. The cat looked at human civilization, assessed the situation, and moved in. Not because we invited it, because it decided the arrangement was acceptable. You did not create the cat. The cat created the cat, and it used you to do it. To understand how this happened, you need to go back 10,000 years. Your ancestors figured out agriculture. For 3 million years, food was something you found, something you chased, something that could run away or kill you back. Then, in the Fertile Crescent, modern-day Iraq, Syria, Turkey, humans figured out how to grow it, how to store it, how to plan a harvest months in advance and keep it through winter. For the first time in human history, food did not have to be found today to be eaten today. They built granaries, filled them with wheat, barley, emmer. Enough food in one place that losing it was not an inconvenience, it was death. An entire community's survival, stacked in the dark, waiting. Then, the rats found out. Rats are not a minor problem. A single pair can produce hundreds of offspring in a year. They contaminate far more grain than they eat. They carry disease. They breed faster than any early farming community could kill them. Your entire food supply, the thing standing between your family and starvation, was disappearing overnight, and there was almost nothing you could do about it. Almost nothing. Here is what nobody planned. Wildcats, specifically the African wildcat, Felis sylvestris libica, had already been hunting rodents for millions of years. They were extraordinarily good at it. And when human grain stores started creating massive concentrations of rats and mice in one location, the cats followed. Not because humans invited them, because the rats were there. At first, they kept their distance. The aggressive ones got driven off. The terrified ones stayed too far away to eat. But somewhere in those wildcat populations, a few individuals were different, slightly less afraid of human proximity, slightly more willing to operate near the noise and smell and firelight of a human settlement. Those cats ate better, had more kittens, who were also slightly less afraid. The exact same mechanism that built the dog, personality filtered by proximity to humans over generations without anyone planning it, was happening again. Except this time, humans barely noticed. And unlike the wolves, the cats were not becoming companions. They were becoming tolerated neighbors. The grain was protected. The rats were dying. The humans said nothing, because why would you interfere with something solving your biggest problem for free? Let's pause here, because what just happened is extraordinary, and almost nobody talks about it. The dog came to us because we had food scraps. The cat came to us because we had a rat problem. Two completely different entry points. Two completely different relationships. The dog wanted to be near us. The cat wanted to be near our rats. To the cat, we were not companions, we were infrastructure. Comment below, do you think your cat actually likes you, or has it simply decided you were useful? I want to know. Picture a Neolithic village at night. A child asleep beside a clay wall. Grain stacked in the dark. An entire winter's survival loose and vulnerable. And then the rats come. Tiny claws on packed earth. Tiny teeth working through sacking. An entire season of work disappearing one mouthful at a time, in silence, in the dark. Then two eyes appear low under the doorway. The cat does not ask permission. It does not wait for an invitation. It simply enters, locates the problem with senses your ancestors could not match, and begins working. By morning, the rats are gone. The cat is somewhere in the shadows cleaning its face. It does not look at you for approval. It does not want praise. It is already thinking about the next hunt. This scene played out across 10,000 years of human settlements. In Egypt, in the Levant, along the Nile, across the Mediterranean. Wherever humans built granaries, wildcats followed. Wherever wildcats followed, the arrangement quietly deepened, not into friendship, into something older and stranger than friendship. Mutual usefulness practiced across so many generations it started to look like something else. Here is what the science actually shows. Dogs have been transformed by domestication at a deep biological level. Their brains changed, their stress hormones changed, their ability to read human facial expressions changed. Thousands of generations of living alongside humans rewired them from the inside out. Cats have not changed nearly as much. Genetically, your house cat is barely distinguishable from its wild ancestor. The African wildcat that first crept toward a grain store 10,000 years ago looks almost identical to the cat on your couch. Same size, same skull shape, same hunting instincts, same fundamental indifference to whether you approve of its choices. What changed is not the cat. What changed is its tolerance for human proximity. When dogs look at human faces, they show a strong left gaze bias, instinctively reading the side of your face where human emotion is strongest. Dogs evolved this specifically to decode us. Cats show social signals too, but not with the same hardwired human-focused intensity dogs evolved. Their social reading developed for other cats first, and humans second, if at all. And the slow blink, that gesture your cat makes when it looks at you and closes its eyes slowly, the one every cat owner interprets as love, researchers have confirmed it works in both directions. You can slow blink at a cat and get one back. But notice what that actually is. That is not the cat bonding with you the way a dog bonds with you. That is the cat communicating that it has decided not to be threatened by your presence right now. For a wildcat, that is the entire relationship. But here is the part the cat would object to if it could. Because while cats changed far less than dogs during the first 10,000 years of living alongside us, the last few centuries of human breeding have done something the previous 10 millennia did not. Persian cats, with faces so flat their nasal passages cannot function properly. Scottish folds, with ears shaped by a genetic mutation that also causes painful joint disease throughout their entire body. Munchkin cats, bred for short legs that produce chronic skeletal problems across their lifespan. The wildcat that survived millions of years in the deserts of the Middle East, perfectly engineered for survival, for speed, for hunting in darkness, has, in some breeds, been redesigned for human aesthetics at the cost of its own health. The cat came to us on its own terms. It negotiated an arrangement that suited it. It maintained its wildness, its independence, its fundamental self-sufficiency. And then, in the last few hundred years, we started changing the deal. So what is the cat? It is not fully domesticated, not the way the dog is, not the way the horse or the cow are. The cat is something rarer than stranger. It is an animal that looked at civilization, calculated the arrangement, and moved in entirely on its own terms. No training, no breeding for obedience, no selection pressure toward loyalty. It simply showed up, fed itself on the consequences of human activity, tolerated human presence, and in return, quietly solved a problem that could have ended early agriculture before it properly began. Without cats, grain stores fail faster. Without grain stores, agricultural surplus collapses before it stabilizes. Without surplus, the cities built from that surplus, the writing, the mathematics, the accumulated knowledge of thousands of years that eventually produce the world you live in, all of it becomes harder, less certain. The cat did not join human civilization the way the dog did, out of something that grew, across tens of thousands of years into what looks remarkably like love. The cat saved human civilization the way a contractor saves a building. It identified the problem, it showed up, it did the work, it sent no invoice, and it has been collecting payment in warmth and shelter and adoration ever since, while appearing to barely notice.
Here is what is actually sitting near you right now. An apex predator whose wild ancestor is still out there, barely changed, in the same deserts where all of this began. An animal that has never been fully decoded, never been made to need you the way a dog needs you, never been rebuilt from the inside out to complete a loop in your brain. It is there because 10,000 years ago, one of its ancestors decided your grain store was worth the risk of proximity. That decision turned out well for both of you. The rats died, the cat ate. The arrangement continued. Generation after generation, until the wildcat became a house cat, became a 600 million strong global phenomenon that generates more human devotion than almost anything else alive. The cat did not get domesticated. The cat found a civilization-sized exploit and has been running it ever since. The dog gave up the wilderness to be with us. The cat brought the wilderness inside and let us live in it. And when your cat sits near you, not on you, not pressed against you the way a dog is, but near you, in the same light, that is not indifference. That is the specific, ancient, non-negotiable way a creature that was never meant to need anyone communicates something it does not have a better language for. It chose to be in the room. For a wildcat, that is everything. 10,000 years ago, one of its ancestors decided humans were worth the risk. Apparently, so did yours. Subscribe, because next time we're going even further back, to the moment your ancestors made a decision that changed what was possible for every creature that decided to live alongside them.